Hey, it's Jack the Part-Time Prepper. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm doing a product review on the Simmons 3-9 power 22 mag Riflescope. I bought a Mossberg 22 rifle last spring to teach my son firearm safety. And it's Mossberg International 802 Plinkster bolt. And it's a decent gun. One problem with the gun though is that the iron sights. They're really not iron, they're more like tin, because once I sighted it in, I'd shoot tight groups, and then the next time I got the rifle, the sights would move on me. And no matter what I did, I could not get that blade tight. It just kept moving. So I decided that eventually I was going to get a scope for the rifle. So I got this scope for $29 on Amazon, and that was shipped, and that included rings. So got it within about a week. Fit and finish is pretty good. It's a nice looking scope. To be honest, it doesn't look like it's a $29 scope. The finish is nice. It came with caps. That's a nice feature. Take off for the adjustments for windage and elevation. One thing I did notice on that is that they do click, but they're awful quiet. Now, this is not a scope that you're really going to adjust in the field that much, so I think once you dial it in, you're fine. But if you want to know your clicks, nah, this isn't it. Also, a problem right off the box I noticed is these rings that come with the scope. One of them fit snug and was fine. The second one, the machining was off, and I actually had to take it apart and Dremel it to get it to seat where it clamped down. It wouldn't line up, it wouldn't get tight, and it's just, well, to be honest, just cheap, lousy machining of cheap metal. So after about 10 minutes with a Dremel, I was able to file it down, and I got it on the rifle, and it's pretty tight. So fit and finish is good. It's got the little red band under the elevation adjustments. That's nice. Eye relief is okay, just looking at it in the box. So far for $29, it's not bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go outside and I'm going to sight it in and then take some shots and then come back and see what we think. All right. Okay, so I'm outside. I've got the Simmons scope on my Mossberg 802 International. Sorry if I squint, I'm looking into the sun. So to get this sighted in, what I've done is taken off the bolt, and I've lined up the barrel so I can see the bullseye, roughly. And I'm about maybe 15 yards from the target, so about 45 feet. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of lining up, eyeballing through the barrel. And then I'm looking into the scope, and I'm not really paying attention to the scope right now. I'm lowering the sights in a little bit. I know it's not right. The idea is what I'll do is I'll fire 1 or 2 shots in a row from rest, and then I'll dial in the scope to wherever it hits. So instead of spending a box of ammo trying to sight this in, hopefully I can do it within 3 shots. So if I can get this bolt back in. Alright, so I'm firing 22 CCI standard 22. Of course, even with the 22, it's not that loud, but you want to put ear protection on. Alright, so I think I just knocked this down a little bit. So the idea is just to get it on the paper, and then I can dial in the scope and then test my zero. Why isn't this raising? I get it. Alright, so I'm going to take 1 shot. And I think I've hit paper. So I'm going to go take a look. I've got my orange peel in the middle of a white target, and the reason I've done that is since I didn't know where the gun was really going to hit, I wanted a bigger target area, so I hit it there. So I am on paper. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to adjust the scope, firing it from the same position, and move it up and over to where the scope is showing this point of impact. Then I'll fire another shot, and theoretically it should be somewhere around here. And then if my grouping is pretty good, then I'll physically take the gun and then try to center it in the scope and take a shot. So let's see if I can get this done. Okay, so I've seen where I'm on the paper. I'm going to adjust the scope. I'm going to take another shot, aiming at bullseye and see before I... Okay, so my second shot is about 2 inches from the first, right here. So 1, 2, and that is just crap pushing through. That's not really a shot. So there's my second shot. Alright, so according to the scope, I'm hitting here theoretically. So I have to go back, line up the scope and rifle, move the scope over. I'll probably cheat in between here. And then after I dial the scope without moving the rifle, I'll then reset the rifle and then aim for bullseye again. And let's see how close I can get to it. Okay, so I forgot my glasses last time around for that second shot. So what I want to do, keep the rifle as still as I can. I was aiming for, the scope was saying bullseye. So what I want to do is I want to just get it lined up. The scope likes to vignette. I think it might have moved down too. I had an easier time down in my burris than this. Alright, so I'm aiming. Alright, I'm on bullseye. These are fogging up on me. So I'm turning over. Got relatively close. Now I'm moving the gun and I'm going to get back. And I'm going to go for a bullseye. I'm going to be off, but let's see how close I can get it. Alright, I'm on the black. So I'm about 3 inches from bullseye, so I need to go windage over a little bit more. Aiming for bullseye. Alright, alright. This is shot 4. Alright, so I got it on that third, 2 inches off. Now I'm recentering it. Alright, I'm almost there. I'm in the circle. Again, aim for bullseye. Windage a little bit more. I think I'm okay on elevation. I don't know if that was live or not. Oh, wow! Dead center. Let's go check it out. Okay, so I got 5 rounds total. First 2, when the scope was that way off, hit off paper. Then I went back and then started adjusting windage, and I got it. That was the third shot. Okay, so I'm getting close. Dialed it in again, a little bit more windage. I left my elevation alone because I thought I was alright. That was the 4th shot. Tweaked it again, so I moved the scope over here, And then once the scope bullseye was pointed on that, then I physically moved it over and hit it dead center. So it took 5 shots to get that in. My Burris Fairfield on my 30-06, I was in within, the first shot was like up here. I dialed in the scope, and I was like 150 feet away, so I was a good 50 yards away. But I dialed in much faster. Within 4 shots, I was inside the circle at 150 feet with the 30-aught. So not bad for, you know, a $28 scope. The Mossberg itself has tended to group pretty well. It's just those iron sights would shift on me, and next time I go shoot it, I'd have to resight it all over. I just got tired of them loosening up. So anyways, yeah, that's not bad. And I'm about in the back of the property, and can't even see the table from here. There I am. It's hard to see with all tripods there. So I'm a good 45-50 feet away from this. So not too bad. I'm going to take a few more shots since I'm out here to see if I can get a good group, see what my spread is. That's my one shot. Then I decided to just get off the bench and just shoot handheld. So at about 45-50 feet. So pretty much for the most part here, I did get, I think I flinched here once. And I don't think that's a shot, that's just dirt. So I don't think it's a shot. Maybe it is, it's hard to tell, it's so wet back there. So yeah, I think I handheld in it. After I sighted in, I kind of screwed up on a couple shots, getting used to the balance of the scope, holding it. But for the most part, you know, that's within the size of my fist. So that's only an 8-inch bullseye. So 50 feet, I'm pretty confident I can take out a coon or a rabbit with that scope. Alright, so we shot about 10-15 rounds outside. First of all, the scope was fairly easy to dial in, and it's kept zero as far as I know. I mean, I'll probably have to go back over the next couple months and shoot, handle it and see, but within 5 shots I had it on a bullseye. A couple thoughts real quick, depending on what I'm showing you from outside, is the field of view is very limited on this scope. It's probably because it's a 32mm objective. Also, there's a little distortion. I mean, overall it's bright on a bright day. It seemed to be bright. Overall clear. It's not a, you know, it's not a $400 scope, so I'm going into it being realistic. It seems to be a pretty popular scope for 22 Rimfire. For $29 ship with rings, even though I had to do a little work on them, it's not that bad. I'm pretty confident that if I go out and I need to shoot a coon or want to go rabbit hunting, this would work fine. I've sighted it to about 20 yards. For me, that's really all I'm going to be hunting or getting rid of pests. I'm not going to be shooting this gun 100 yards out. So for 20 yards, I think that's a good fit. It's supposedly good for 50, and I may over the next few months, and especially when it warms up more, go out and try that. But pros, cheap, decent fit and finish. The scope itself, the optics for below $30. You know, I mean, what are you going to put other than a air gun scope? The cons are it vignettes a lot. The objective is you don't have a lot of room. It's made in China, which you know, like everything else now is made in China. So so yeah, for if you're looking for a cheap but not crap scope for a $100 or so rifle, I'd say go ahead and get it. If anything changes, I'll post another review on it. But you know, it's a nice setup. That's my review for the rifle. If you'd like to follow along for more product reviews I find useful, then please feel free to check out my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/theparttimeprepper. Thank you.